Welcome to Chapter 5, Defenses that Fight Back. A good defense isn't a bunker. It's a counterattack with a delay on it. 8 lessons across the Sicilian, the Caro-Kann, the French, the Scandinavian and the Pirc. The breaks that free your game, the move order details that diffuse whole attacking systems, and the traps hiding inside quiet openings. Let's go. First, a warning shot. For both colours, in the Sicilian's quiet sidelines, White's modest setup appears to leave the centre pawn completely undefended. Appears. Taking it is the mistake. The queen checks from the side of the board, the fork almost nobody sees coming, because it arrives from a square nothing was pointing at. Black must block, and the queen crosses the board to collect the knight. The lesson travels everywhere. Before grabbing a free centre pawn, count the checks, especially the long-distance ones. Open Sicilian, main road, both sides develop through the standard moves. Knights out, centre traded, everything normal. Now black turns the routine into an ambush. The knight nips at White's dark square bishop. It steps aside, and the queen swings out, hitting the queen side and the tender pawn beside White's king at once. White saves the attacked knight, the obvious move, and the queen lands next to the king. Checkmate. Thousands of games have ended on exactly this square. That's what a fighting defense means. Your defensive moves carry their own venom. The accelerated dragon. Black fianchettos the dragon bishop, one move faster than the normal move order, and keeps the queen's pawn at home. Remember that detail. It's the entire point of the opening. White builds the most feared attacking formation in the Sicilian, the setup that wins brilliancy prizes in every database. And black answers with a single pawn move, the central break. Because that pawn never moved earlier, it reaches the center in one step instead of 2. The dreaded attack diffuses before it starts, the center opens for the dragon bishop, and black has fully equalized. One move order detail, one free equalizer. Caro-Kann, advanced variation, White grabs space and locks the center. Black's reply, strike at the base of the chain immediately before the wall sets. Now the order that makes it work. The light-squared bishop gets out and finds a target before the pawn door closes behind it. Then knight, then the pawn chain, then the queen leaning on the center. Compare this to the French defense. Same wall, but black's problem bishop is outside it, active instead of buried. White breaks the pin. Black happily trades bishop for knight and cracks the center open. Look at the finish. Queen and knights ganging up on White's central pawn. The whole game plan in one picture. Pressure the center until it falls. The space White grabbed becomes the space White has to defend. The French advance. Black piles up on White's central pawn. Queen, pawn, knight, everything aimed at one square. And eventually it looks like the pawn must simply fall. Here's why strong players don't panic. The pile-up cashes in, pawns trade, knights trade, and the black queen scoops up the center pawn. On the surface, black just won the fight for the middle. But first, check. The little in-between move before anything gets recaptured. Black has to block with the bishop. And now the white queen takes the black queen free of charge. The pawn was never hanging. It was rented. Before every capture, one question. What check comes in between? The Scandinavian. Black's queen comes out on move 2, takes one kick and settles on the flank. White just develops, bishop eyeing the weak square, everything normal. Now 2 deliberately modest moves. The queen slides one square, the bishop steps up one square. They look like nothing. Together, they've quietly cleared the runway for the knight and set one of the prettiest traps in open-game chess. The knight lunges, attacking the queen and eyeing one square deep in black's camp. The queen retreats all the way home, the one losing square. The knight lands. Checkmate. The king suffocated by his own untouched army, beaten by 2 moves that never once made a threat. One more Scandinavian idea. And this time black doesn't even bother taking the pawn back. Offer the pawn and just develop. The knight first, then the bishop, arriving with a threat, then the next knight. Count the pieces out. 3 for black, 1 for white, and black's whole army is staring at the center and the king's wing. Development is the currency, the pawn was the price. Below master level, the attack arrives long before that pawn ever matters. The last lesson is a warning about autopilot. Black sets up the modern fianchetto, every single move natural, played a million times. And the last one loses the queen on the spot. The problem, the early knight move blocked the queen's own escape hatch. The bishop crashes into the weak square. Check. King takes, knight check, king retreats, knight fork. The king steps away, and the knight walks off with the queen. 2 natural developing moves in the wrong order. That's all it took, and even elite grandmasters have fallen for it. In quiet systems, the move order is the theory. That's Chapter 5. Pick one of these defenses and make it yours. Every line is free at mated.gg, with boards to step through and the coach to spar against. Chapter 6 sharpens the knife, the tactical weapons that decide games. See you there.